Okay, just checking the vehicle in lane 1 before we move across. And I'm aware of the roundabout sign coming up on the left hand side takes us to the first exit. Roundabout sign on the right hand side gives us priority at the roundabout. Looking across to make sure vehicles are aware that we have priority. Just check the gantry and we can see there's flowing traffic up there. So we're checking the distance from the vehicle up ahead of us and we're preparing to exit left. Just a quick look in the right mirror to make sure there's nobody else trying to exit with us or beat us to the exit. Looking up at the gantry we see there's a vehicle there and another white van behind him. Just checking the distance again from the vehicle up ahead so we can use acceleration to help us find a gap if we need to. Looking across, there's vehicles there, so I'm going to use the signal and we're just going to accelerate now and feed ourselves into this gap nice and clean. Regulate the distance from the vehicle up ahead by dropping back. We're being aware of anything coming up very quick before we move into lane 2. You can see the bikes behind us at the moment and accelerating away. We're going to review this section in a little bit more detail now. As we approach the roundabout, the sign on the right is the one that gives us priority at the roundabout. You can see the giveaway line halfway through the sign. Any foreign lorry drivers or people who are not using roundabouts or intersections like this might not be aware of the giveaway, so we need to be aware of anybody coming towards us from under that bridge. Looking at the gantry, you can see whether there's any traffic flow or initial clue as to whether it's a busy area or not. Keeping a gap from the vehicles like this is just allowing us to take the information as we need to. But there's actually a little bit of traffic flow up there. We're holding back from the vehicle again, using this nice following distance to allow us that time just to decide on things, and you can see there's quite a bit of traffic flow up there. So we're going to have to use a little bit of acceleration to get in. Our vehicle plan is to move to lane 1, lane 2 and probably into lane 3. If we're on a sports bike, we'll be putting a lot more throttle in here, which means we need to consider what's coming up fast to the rear. So if something is in lane 3 making good progress, it's going to catch us up very quickly and probably be in the line of my escape route from any traffic. So I need to consider exactly what's going on around us and coming up fast. We'll make some nice observations moving in, but notice how it's a little pause between each lane change. I'm not just flying into lane 3 to escape. I also need to consider if the van's going to move or brake or anything like that. Just being aware of the junction on the left hand side as I approach, just in case the driver lets someone out. You can take the opportunity to gently tickle through at the moment. Again, resting behind the truck, so I'm as far as I would have been if the lights didn't catch me. As we come through, you can see there's brake lights on the vehicles up ahead right down to where the white van is. Now there appears to be a gap in front of the white van, and the fact he has brake lights on indicates that he's not going to close that gap up, he's going to let the vehicle out on the left hand side. As we continue through, being a little bit careful, you can see there is actually a car there who's just a little bit close to the near side. So as we come along, we're just going to rest behind this large vehicle. The traffic coming towards us looks like it may take lane 2 at any time, so that'll cause conflict between us, so I want to avoid that. The gap in the houses on the left, and the fact there's a dead end sign there on the left hand side I can see, will tell me there's a possible junction just the other side of this large restricted vehicle. I'm going to allow this vehicle to pull away, just controlling the space on my left hand side by setting off a little slower, and this will allow me to put the pieces together and look for a filter later on if needed. Just going to check the mirrors and drop way back. And start to see the truck's mirror now on the right hand side. Now we can see if I stop here, I have very little visibility. Basically the truck behind me, I'm sandwiched at the moment as well. Good look in the mirrors. We're setting off nice and gently, allowing the truck to pull clear of us. The vehicles look like they're merging further down, so we're just going to give plenty of space for everything to sort itself out. As as we drop in behind the truck, we're going to look at a common mistake most riders will make. See, from a following distance like this, it's very hard to see the road round and up ahead. It's hard to regulate what's going on to the rear. Even if I drop back to a distance like this, the truck driver's still not aware I'm here or can't see me until I move it sort of an extremely wide position like this. I drop back into a position, and even from this sort of distance, it's still hard to see this junction developing on the left hand side. I can't see anything into the junction. You can see there's an Audi there. If the Audi pulled out, the first sort of warning I would have of that would be the brake lights on the truck. From further back I'd be able to see the Audi's wheels, possibly his brake lights, and move through the area a lot safer.
He's watching the pedal bike now. He's going to move slightly wider for his parked vehicles. I'm going to avoid the drain while I can. And just filter at the middle. Okay, avoiding the filter at the moment because the traffic's going to set off and some of them can move and weave around a little bit. Just working the mirrors as we allow the pedal bike to accelerate us a little bit. Giving him a bit of space. Checking there's no one in lane 2, I'm just going to take lane 2 and accelerate away, watching the silver one just in case she pulls out.
Okay, we can see the pedal bike up ahead moving wide for his silver vehicle. Now the brake lights on the silver vehicle hopefully mean the driver's not going to open the door or actually set off in the way of the pedal bike and make him move wide. Should any of this happen, we're controlling that right mirror and the space to our right so that we can take an avoidance if needed. As we continue on our way past the pedal bike, we can see a queue of traffic further down with a possible filter. Now the lights have changed, which is going to make things quite uncontrolled. As everybody sets off, there's quite a bit of movement and you can see the pedal bike creeping up there as well. To allow the risk to be minimal here, I need this nice space and time to work. So I'm going to check and move out into lane 2, and you can see the junction on the left hand side with the drivers looking at us.
Easing down, again a little bit of a possible filter opportunity, and you can see that vehicle's out to the left hand side a little bit more than I could, so I couldn't filter through there. Just keeping an eye on it. Easing through again, watching the pedestrians and the traffic lights further down. Position of the vehicle is still not improved much. I'm watching another bike a little bit further back as well. And as we're coming up, again allowing the vehicle to pull a little bit further forward, watching the van in lane 1 at the moment. Just allowing this vehicle to pull away from me, watching the pedestrian. Again, possible opportunity to filter, but the vehicle is still sat narrowing that gap slightly. That looks like a little bit of a better gap. Just checking the vehicle as it slows in lane 1. It's going to allow me to feed through. Good looking in the mirrors as well, just to clarify what's going on to the rear. Watching for any vehicles in lane 1 that wants to take lane 2 because it's smooth flowing at the moment.
Okay, when we're following traffic and filtering such as this, it's quite important to use the position to control what's going on. So I've dropped down to a white line here, so I can view what's going on now. That area just behind the silver vehicle would be quite unsafe to stop in, so I'm holding back and not taking the filter on. The big red truck, I want to try and control the space around that red truck and keep an eye on him in the mirror if I can, so that if the filter opportunity is on I can take it, but I want to make sure that he's not going to shoot down the inside of me. I've just adjusted my position back to the middle, as you can see here, and if I use a little head check like that, that'll just make sure the truck's a little bit less positive about coming down the inside of me, really. So we're controlling the space and the area that's around us just by using the position and putting observations in so that other people can see what we may be intending to do or thinking about doing.
Again, the traffic started moving off and we see brake lights disappearing. So we're not taking this filter on because people will be moving into areas that we can't control, and there's a lot of different speeds between the vehicles. Again, got to look for a filtering opportunity if possible. Doesn't look too bad. Vehicle didn't look in his blind spot before he moved across though. Good job we had eyes in the mirrors and was aware of what's there, so we can just shift position. As we come along areas like this, it's important to keep an eye on what's on the right hand side, just in case we need to use that space at any time. With vehicles, sometimes they'll check and move in the mirror, but they won't check the blind spot before they move out. So it's important to control the area around you so that if you need to take space, you can.